Let's talk about the other side of bipolar, multiple sclerosis, cancer, heart disease, chronic diseases, whatever it may be. There is another side, and that side is the cure. But let's go back a little bit and talk about my own personal experience briefly. I was diagnosed bipolar in my 20s when I was suicidal. Then later in life, I was getting sicker and sicker and sicker until eventually at the age of 37, I lost the ability to walk from multiple sclerosis. I had numbness all down my left side. My left eye was jumping around. I had all sorts of issues and was in the hospital for about a month. But I was always under the impression that once you're diagnosed with bipolar, multiple sclerosis, that you're living with these forever and you're taking medicine forever. Of course, these like MS walks and other things talking about, developing a cure. But we have to realize the cure is never outside of ourselves. The cure is within us. So welcome, my name is Sam. So let's dive into this. How do we create these cures? Because we all have the power to create cures. And that's by tapping into our perfect spirit, soul, consciousness, whatever it may be. And that's what it was for me. I never had any concept of healing. Healing was an impossibility because we're constantly told that if you have bipolar, multiple sclerosis, whatever it may be, that you're going to have to live with this forever. You're going to need to take medicine. You're going to need to take these precautions. And all of these stories they tell you. But why are we taking these stories as our truth? We don't need to accept them as our truth. We can accept, the body was diagnosed with this, but it doesn't mean it has to stay there forever. So when I was very sick, I simply read about meditation one day. But typically, if you told me before that I need to go meditate, I thought you were crazy. Because there's no way I was going to sit on the floor, hold my hands a certain way, breathe a certain way. All those rules never resonated with me. I was never a big fan of rules. So I read about meditation brings inner peace. I'm like, yes, I need inner peace. I'm completely stressed out, completely overwhelmed. I need peace. So this book didn't really talk about meditation too much. It was more like a reference, like a page or two on meditation, but it wasn't the focus of the book. But it was just enough for me to get started, to relax in comfortable clothing, maybe put some soft music on and just relax essentially. But I was under the impression though that meditation means you stop thinking. So initially, when it first began, the mind would start yapping away like it usually does, the blah, blah, blahs, and start telling the stories, start distracting you. Then it would be like, well, stop thinking. So it was a thought chasing a thought. Thoughts going, stop thinking, and just kept going around in circles. Kind of reminds me like my psychiatrist, my psychologist, trying to improve thoughts. But we really don't want to improve our thoughts. We want to see that we have thoughts, but we are not our thoughts. We're the witness, the observer to those thoughts. So then I had another question when I discovered that I wasn't my thoughts. If I'm not my thoughts, then who am I? That answer came roughly about 3 months later, but I had a very simple practice though, 5 minutes a day, then 5 minutes twice a day, then 10 minutes twice a day. So it was a very simple practice of relaxing. Mind thinking, where are my feet? Mind thinking, where are my feet? I was just getting myself here into this moment. But I never had a spiritual teacher. This is my own intuition, my own doing. So we all have this ability. We all have this intuitive voice, but it's drowned out from the noise up here. So where I'm going with this, so 3 months later, I heard the answer, if I'm not my thoughts, well, who am I? Then I simply, either it was my intuitive voice or another voice that I can't explain, but I just simply heard perfect spirit after meditation one night. It's like, that's it. I am perfect spirit. I'm not this body, this damaged mind. But that came at the right time. If I heard perfect spirit earlier in my life, I would have gone to my psychiatrist and say, hey, I'm hearing voices. But no, that was just reminding me of my truth and your truth, that we are perfect spirit, inhabiting this human body for this short human duration. So I was really, once I realized that wasn't my thoughts, the mind was getting quieter. Then once I realized I was perfect spirit, the mind had no power over me at that point, or very little power. So then I just followed that intuitive voice to my path to healing. But initially my healing was never my goal. And I need to talk about why I don't like the word healing. I create a video on that. But essentially, healing has all sorts of rules and dogma associated with that. And we need to focus more on being at peace. For peace is the true essence of us. So the cure is simply getting rid of the head trash, the noise, the distractions, the stress, the worry. The head trash creates so much chaos in our life. We forget that within us is peace. And from this peace, the steps for your healing are there. And it could be healing, physical healing, mental healing. It could be healing of financial situation, relationships, careers, whatever it may be. But we don't need to focus onto those areas. The first priority is knowing who we are, perfect spirit. Then once we know that, not intellectualize it, but have that deep feeling when you're just sitting there, closing your eyes, and you just feel the stillness, that peace within you. And you know that's who you are, beyond words, beyond descriptions, the place of peace, the place that all is well. So the other side of chronic disease, cancer, whatever it may be, is the cure, and the cure is found in peace. It's very simple. The mind loves complexity, though. So it thinks you have to get these attunements, you have to read these books, you have to go see these gurus, you have to go see these teachers, that someone has more power than you, and it just keeps going on and on and on. It's like the journey to ourself is not out there, it's always within us. So we simply need to learn to sit quietly. And the practice that I had was this simple. Just sitting there relaxing. I had a piece of music that was about 5-6 minutes long. That was my timer. So I would put that track on the background. And then I would just sit there. The mind would just start doing what it's doing. And whenever it start getting busy, distracted, I would just come back to it like, where are my feet? Where are my hands? And eventually it just became a habit of, there goes the mind, come back, the mind, come back. And that's what I did for 5-6 minutes a day. And the mind was growing quieter. In the second month, I did that twice a day. And by the third month, I was just doing it 10 minutes twice a day. Even today, I only sit for 20 minutes. There's no need to sit for hours upon hours. When you know who you truly are, you don't need to keep sitting there. You can just sit for a few minutes a day and just, like a daily mental shower, get rid of the noise, the beliefs that you picked up during the day. Or maybe you're just trying to hear the intuitive voice, to discover that next step forward. Because we have to realize the spirit is our lighthouse. It never goes dark. There's never a dark night of the soul. The soul is always shining bright. It's simply the mind creating this darkness like a lampshade over our own light. And this is illuminating the path ahead, but it's only illuminating the next step. The mind does not like that. The mind wants to know the whole plan. But Spirit's saying, do this, do that. Now do this, do that. And it's that simple. Like one day I just had the intuition that I need to do yoga. All right, where's my yoga studio? So driving to work, I drove by a yoga studio and was like, oh, that's my yoga studio. So come home from work, sign up. You got to remember, at this time I was dealing with MS. I had very, very poor balance. But yet I trusted that voice, and that's a big piece of it, is trusting our own intuitive voice. So I trusted that voice, signed up, and when I began, I was quite tipsy. Quite tipsy when I began. But 6 months later, no cane. Things were, coming back to normal. And now, I'm healthy. And I didn't need spiritual teachers. I didn't need all that seeking outside myself. So that's why I help people today. Help them remember who they are. That all your power is in this moment. It's like the power of now that Eckhart Tolle talks about. The power is in this moment. It's not in our thinking. Anytime you're up in here, you're not here present in this moment. You're in the story. So it's simply just a matter of coming back to who we are to create that cure, that we all have this potential. Because take away the human body, spirit remains. If this doesn't make sense to you, look at old photos of yourself and ask yourself, where did you go? The one who sees through the eyes never went any place, has remained a constant, was never born, never dies, has always been here, and will remain here when the body drops away. It's like we're a continuation. We're constantly continuing. Into this form drops away. Into another form, that form drops away. Into another form, that drops away. The form could be a human body. It could be anything. There's no rules. There's no restrictions. The rules are all mental, and they're not the truth. All right. I think that's enough for today. Hopefully that made sense to you. Let me know if you have any questions. I do have an event coming up tomorrow. It's kind of late notice, but I do these healing circles every 2 weeks. I call them healing circles because people can relate to that, but they're really just circles to remember who we are and really tapping into our power, our potential. All right, take good care of yourself. Talk soon.